Good morning, Boru Aboye. My name is Baba Anthony, and I am with Okanran Sode Temple, Miami. I would like to begin this morning, as we always do, with our morning prayers. Alolo me, cool piece of water, pure tranquil water. This was the Ifa cast for Rumila. When he's going to take Olomi Tutu, owner of cool water, as his wife. Ifa said it is taboo. Erigialo will never allow Olomi Tutu to die cruel cheap death. Olomi Tutu and death have entered into a covenant. Ashe. Cool water, cool home, cool roads, cool Eshu. Ashe. Ibashe akamara. Ibashe olodumare obatere de kaye. Ibashe orumila leri ikwen. Ibashe akoda. Ibashe asheda. Ibashe Eshu. Ibashe to my Ori. Ibashe to all the Iramone on the left hand side of Olodumare. Ibashe to all of the Iramone on the right hand side of Olodumare. Ibashe to my mother. Ibashe to my father. Ibashe to my Oluo. Ibashe to my Uyibona. Ibashe to my Baba Ifa. Ibashe to all of the elders that have supported me on my journey in Ifa. Ibashe to my brothers and sisters of Ifa and Orisha. Ibashe to my wife. And Ibashe to my children. Jehovah. He who hears our pleas and accepts our pleas. He who hears our pleas and approves our pleas. He who talks to us and shows the talk is completely absorbed. He who hears our pleas and accepts our pleas is the name of Ifa. He who hears our pleas and approves our pleas is Eshu Dada. He who talks to us and shows the talk is completely absorbed is Orishanla. Orishanla, you are the one that molds human beings. The one that molds one cannot fail to impress one. It is the striped frog that summons the rainfall. It is the bullfrog that summons the downpour. It's whatever the Akede Japon tree tells the earth is what the earth accepts. It's whatever the big rat tells the earth is what the earth accepts. Ifa, please approve and accept all that we tell you. Ifa, as we come to pray to you this morning, I ask all the pleas from myself, for those that are watching, to please support them. We're asking for your support in all of our endeavors and things that we do. Ashe. Obunda warning. The ocean is filled to the brim. The lagoon is filled to capacity. Alasan's going to Hassan. Alasan's going to Hassan. The owl at the top of the rock. The elders thought over the matter and realized it was no longer favorable. They used their mustaches to cover their faces and spread their beards firmly across their chests. These are the declarations of Ifa to Isheshe, traditionalism, and to the head of every oral cult in Ile Ife. What is one's traditionalism? What is one's Isheshe? Olodumare is one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe we also appease before appeasing in Orisha. Ori is one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe we also appease before appeasing in Orisha. One's mother is one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe we also appease before appeasing in Orisha. Please let us appease Isheshe. It is Isheshe we also appease before appeasing in Orisha. Isheshe of our one's father is one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe we also appease before appeasing in Orisha. Those are the organ female to the organs one's Isheshe. It is Isheshe we also appease before appeasing in Orisha. Isheshe is the father of all the tutu. It is Isheshe of people repeating in Orisha. The Isheshe of our mother's land. Isheshe of our father's land. May they have a say in all that we do. It is Isheshe with people repeating in Orisha. Ashe. Ifa, we call on our ancestors to give us support in all that we do. We call on our ancestors to give us support in our daily lives. We call on our ancestors to support our work. We call on our ancestors to support our relationships. Please let our Isheshe help guide and protect and bless us always. Ashe. Oshe Gunda. Orumila says, let us be thankful. I say we need to be thankful. They asked the rats to be thankful, and the rats asked why. Orumila responded because gratuitous feeding and drinking which the rats enjoyed. The rats said there was no need to be thankful. Consequence of this ingratitude is the glorious death of rats. Orumila says, let us be thankful. I say we need to be thankful. They asked the fish to be thankful. The fish asked why. Orumila responded because of gratuitous feeding and drinking which the fish enjoyed. Fish said there was no need to be thankful. Consequence of this ingratitude leads to the glorious death of fish. Orumila says, let us be thankful. I say we need to be thankful. They asked the birds to be thankful, and the birds asked why. Orumila responded because of gratuitous feeding and drinking which the birds enjoyed. The bird said there's no need to be thankful. Consequences of this ingratitude leads to the glorious death of birds. Orumila says, let us be thankful. I say we need to be thankful. They asked the beast to be thankful, and the beast asked why. Orumila responded because of gratuitous feeding and drinking which the beast enjoyed. The beast said there was no need to be thankful. Consequences of gratitude leads to the glorious death of the beast. Orumila says, let us be thankful. I say we need to be thankful and ask the human beings to be thankful. The human beings ask why. Orumila responded because of the 2 to 3 day dream which the human beings enjoy. It was only human beings that said there was a need to be thankful. Ifa, I have come to show my gratitude. If one has shown benevolence, then we must show our gratitude. Ifa, I have come to show my gratitude. Ifa, in all things that I do, I come to show gratitude to you daily. Ifa, in all things that I have, I come to show my gratitude. Ifa, in all things that we work on in our lives, our relationships, our careers, all things that we work towards, we are always grateful for the goodness that you bring towards us. And we continue to ask you for your support, blessings, and guidance always. Ashe. Awa dupe, awa bure. Awa dupe o, awa bure. Adupe ana wa bore tori bo Olodumare. Awa dupe, awa bure. Awa dupe o, awa bure. Adupe ana wa bore tori bo ori yemi. Awa dupe, awa bure. Awa dupe o, awa bure. Adupe ana wa bore tori bo eromole. Awa dupe, awa bure. Awa dupe o, awa bure. Adupe ana wa bore tori bo legosa. Ashe. Eroso ni tutu. How the game without tutu can be difficult to consume. This was the Ephod cast for a tutu. The child who embodied Asia. He whose attitude was not acceptable. He who was full of bad character. He whose bad attitude had prevented him from coming to Ephod's domain. Now we come to solicit on behalf of the tutu. We come to beg on behalf of the tutu. Father, please be patient and forgive this provocation. We come to beg on behalf of the tutu. Oromila responded that those who come to beg on behalf of the tutu, that those who come to solicit on behalf of the tutu, how many children does Nephi have that he would cast one out? Those who come to beg on behalf of the tutu, I said, Ofunbesi, Hepa Odu, the king who molds human beings, the king who molds human destiny, the king who supports and assists human beings, the king who molds human character, the king who molds human beings is the name given to Orishan La. The king who molds human destiny is the name given to Orumila. The king who supports and assists human beings is the name given to Ori. The king who molds human character is the name given to Olodumare. Orangu Meji are calling you by your formula, which is known as Hepa Odu. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life to be rewarding. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life to be fruitful. Please come and help me organize my life. Sode is blessed with wealth. Sode is blessed with children. Sode is blessed with all the array of life. It is impossible to see the depth of the sea. Do not let people see evil in me. Do not let me be disgraced. It is impossible to see the depth of the river. All what I do is fine. Please do not let people dig up evil in me. Orangu maybe. I'm calling you by your formula, which is known as Hepa Odu. Please let my matters be fruitful and rewarding. As we work to establish a temple here in Miami, as we work to be better Ifa practitioners, as we work to be better family members, as we work to be better workers, as we work to be better at everything that we do, we ask for your support. We continue to ask to guide us, protect us, and bless us in all of our endeavors. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Oshe Kura. Tiny of the feet of Tubu. Strive with the maid not being enough to be used as headgear. Had it been enough to be used as headgear, I've taken it home and adorned my head with it. This was the Ephod cast for Wure La. I'm going on a spiritual mission to Egypt, Bulan. We call on the locust bean seller and pay her money. We call on Wure La with respect in Egypt, Bulan. Oh, shit to it. Kekeni Baki Sa, the actual striped tree. It was the one who cast the Fa. For a woman is going to receive Iba, reverence, and Ashe from Olodumare. If an owl says that we shall be wealthy, we shall surely be wealthy. Kekeni Baki Sa, the mouth of an owl resides deep on Ashe, in the mouth of an owl. If an owl says that we shall have good spouts, we shall certainly have good sprouts. Kekeni Baki Sa, the mouth of an owl resides deep on Ashe, in the mouth of an owl. If an owl says that we shall have good children, we shall certainly have good children. Kekeni Baki Sa, the mouth of an owl resides deep on Ashe, in the mouth of an owl. If an owl says that we shall have wealth, we shall surely have wealth. Kegeni Baki San, the mouth of an owl resides deep by Ashe, in the mouth of an owl. If an owl says that we shall have all the array of life, we shall certainly have all the array of life. I take any baggy sa in the mouth of an owl, besides Ibana Shay in the mouth of an owl. Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Gbogbo tí mo bá máa ń wí o, erúmọlẹ̀ ọba Ifá ọba o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Gbogbo tí mo bá máa ń wí o, erúmọlẹ̀ ọba Ifá ọba o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Timo duro, Timo sure, Timo bere, Timo sure, Timo kule, Timo sure, Timo joko, Timo sure, ere Timo suori tibo. Let us hold our oris. Orieni laureni, orieni laureni, moji lauro mofo mori, orieni laureni, orieni laureni, orieni laureni, moji lauro mofo mori, orieni laureni. Bobo ire tasu Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run àti bàdájú Ifá ọba Ọlọ́run ó ṣe àwọ̀ ẹ̀là Ifá ti gbọ́. Ifá, we've come and given our prayers this morning. We're asking for your guidance, protections, and blessings in all of our endeavors. We're asking for your support. As we have given our prayers, we ask that these prayers be taken with Oshetura to heaven, to the house of Ashe, so that old Udumare may support us in all of our endeavors. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Good morning again. My name is Baba Anthony, and I am with Okanran Sode Temple here in Miami, Florida. Today's topic is Ifa, finding our true happiness. You know, it's interesting, as we go through life, there are so many things that we are told that we have to acquire, right? From a young age, you have to have good grades to go to a good college. Once you get to college, you got to have good grades in college to pick a good career so that you'll have money to support your family and do all of these things. And it seems, or at least it feels like, that as we get older, it's always about trying to acquire more and more in life, right? If it's not more money, then it's more cars, then it's more partners. It's just always more, right? All of that is fine. Not to say that we shouldn't be trying to work towards being as wealthy as we can be, or have the nicest cars, or have, the most beautiful spouse, which we all, do. Our spouse is the most beautiful, as we all know, right? It's not that we shouldn't work towards that, but Ifa points us in a direction of what we should be trying to work towards, right? It's not always about trying to acquire physical things. And that's what we should try to understand. We should know from the beginning that wealth in Ifa is very much about finding happiness. Because we've certainly read stories about people who appear as if they have all the wealth in the world, yet they're unhappy. And people who barely have enough to get through the week, and they are happy, right? People, and we're dealing with people on opposite sides of the spectrum, right? Those who have everything and aren't happy, and those who have little and are happy. That's what we're dealing with, and that's what we're trying to understand. When we have happiness, it is my belief that we are working and living towards our destiny. But let us not think only about the material things. Let's think about what Ifa says in so many Ifa verses are things that will support our destiny. Right? So let us go to the Odu of Igameji. The sharp edge of a metal spike cannot be grasped in one hand. An avaricious person is he who looks sideways in an expectant manner. His mind and eyes are never settled in one place. A snake does not take its young ones with it to move leisurely around the farmland. These were Ifa's declarations to Karen Nasi, who shall grow old and feeble and live up to 3,000 years on earth. He was advised to offer a bow. So here we have the story of Karen Nasi. He was someone who was in love with himself at a very young age. He cherished every moment of life to the extent that he was always thinking about protecting life. He wasn't interested in taking risks or hurting himself. So he lived his life avoiding contention so that he would not be fighting with others and someone would get angry and hurt him. He lived his life so that he didn't have competition with others. So he'd avoid being hurt over envy and jealousy. He was as careful as could be. In spite of everything that he did, Karen Nasi still felt that he needed to do more. He needed to be sure that everything he was doing would guarantee him a long life. So Karen Nasi went to the Babalaos to have Ifa cast. And his questions were simple. Would he enjoy a real long life on earth? Would he be alive to witness the birth and growth of his children? Right? Would he see generation after generation grow up? Would he live in good health? These are all the questions that Karen Nasi had. And he was always focused on trying to accomplish that. So the Awo cast Ifa, and Ikameji was the Odu that was brought. The Awo promised him that not only will he have long life, grow old and be old and feeble and live very long, even surpass those that came after him, right? He would do so in good health. He was advised to offer a bow, and he was also advised to have a ceremony which we call a koshe, where Ifa medicine was applied. So he did the bow, and it was almost if Karen Nasi looked younger. People couldn't believe it. As time went on, Karen Nasi's life seemed like it was never going to end. As a matter of fact, it would appear that he lived a life that was 3,000 years long. He saw generation after generation grow, be born, grow, and die. Now, after dealing with all of that, he started to get to the point where He couldn't recognize anyone anymore. And his only regret was that he could tell someone where all of his relatives were buried. Those who were supposed to be worshiping him were now long gone. Now, this is an interesting story, right? Whenever we want anything in life, we always have to be absolutely careful that we're not asking for that thing in excess. Everything that we ask for needs to be in moderation, right? I would like to think for myself, I want to be living this life so that I can see my kids grow up, get married, start to live their own lives. And then when it is time for me to go, it is time for me to go. But I don't want to see my children go before I do. Right? So thinking about this story, we all know as Ifa practitioners, one of the main array that we have is array of long life. And so we want to make sure that we work towards that, right? We don't want to live in excess of our time here, but we want to make sure that we live a full, happy, healthy life. How do we do that? Sounds simple, but nothing ever is simple, right? We have to think about, one, taking care of our health, making sure that we are eating as well as we can, making sure that we are moving ourselves, making sure that we're not putting ourselves in situations that will cause us to end our lives too soon. Right? I think to myself, things that are easy to do is go to bed at night. Don't find yourself out late at night where bad things can happen. Get yourself rest so that when you wake up in the morning, you feel good and you can continue to have good day after good day. Right? Because you know why? This is all in support of your happiness. This is all in support of you living the fullest life that you can. Now, we can't account for the things that come that we can't plan for, whether it be disease, whether it be accidents or those things. We can't account for those things. But our goal is to try to take care of ourselves so that we're living, again, a full and happy life. And so I chose that particular story from that Odu because array of long life is something that as Ifa practitioners, we should be working towards. Right? Ashe. So let's go to another story. This is from Oyeku Meji. Oyeku Meji goes like this. The opele seed are they which after being filled with food turn their stomach to the ground. This was Ifa's declaration to Peregede, the mother of Ojumomo. The day has dawned. She was advised to offer a bow. She complied. Ashe. So, we have the story of Peregede. She was a woman who was living a life of not being able to succeed. She was facing many, many challenges. She wasn't wealthy. She didn't have direction. She didn't have purpose. She was looking for a spouse. She wanted to have children. She had so many questions. So she goes to the Awo to have them cast Ifa for Ifa consultation. She was promised during the consultation that she would find success, that she was destined to succeed. She was advised to not only offer her a bow, but to make sure that all of the needs and things that she wanted to acquire in her life, she was communicating to Olodumare and the deities very, very early in the morning, right? As for Perigede, that was her way of being saved. That was her way of finding success, right? And it was at that time that the deities would be listening and taking her prayers to Olodumare so that they could support her. So Perigede offered the abo, and she continued with her prayers to Olodumare and the deities. She complied with all of the advice that the Awos had given, right? Slowly, Perigede started to find successes in her life. After things were done, she found herself meeting a very nice spouse, someone who she quickly found herself being very attracted to. Personality, looks, he was the package. He found her very interesting also. Very soon after that, they found themselves wanting to combine their families, right, for their success, to support each other. Soon after, she became pregnant. She had a baby. Another year goes by, she has another child, and her life gets better with now her husband and her children. Soon after that, they built a very big house because they needed the space for the children that they had, and they wanted to spread out and enjoy each other. They bought horses, which would equate to cars for us. They bought the things that they needed in life. Now Perigede found herself in complete happiness. She had found her wealth. She had found her spouse. She had found her children. She had good home. She had horses. She had all the things that she was looking for. You know, one of the things I often think about is sometimes I have conversations with people who discuss with me the idea that maybe they aren't supposed to receive all of the good things in life. Unfortunately, that is not true. Olodumare has promised us all to live a good life. It's just that when we get to the point of finding our success, when we get to the point of having all of our ire, is different. Some start their process of ire from a very young age. Some receive their ire in a very late age. One elder once told me that Olodumare's timing is perfect. That is something we truly have to think about and remember. The challenges that we go through are for us. Now, some of these challenges can be avoided. That's why we have the guidance of Ifa. But some of these challenges are inevitable. So, we seek the guidance of Ifa to know the direction that we need to go to so that we can find the ire that we're looking for. And for Perigede, in this story of Oyakumeji, she finds her ire of spouse, her blessing of spouse. She finds her blessing of children. She finds her blessing of homes. She finds the blessing of all ire coming to her. And that's what we're working towards, right? It's so important to understand that, again, as I discuss, are we working towards that ire that Ifa wants for us? We need to understand that it's not a bank account with $2 million. It is not always having, as many cars as you want or the biggest house. That ire looks different for all of us. But it is knowing that when we reach that ire, we are happy. Ashe. So let us go to another Odu. Oshe Meji. Oshe Wo. It breaks into pieces. Orun Wo. It cracks into tiny fragments. It is not the practice to paint dry palm fronds with camwood. These were Ifa's messages for Usanla Oshimeragbo, Obatala, when going to have the hand of Ojose as his wife. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Obanla, the great Oba, I hereby offer my Oshe kola nuts. Today is Oshe Day. Now, this is one of my favorite stories of Ifa because this particular story discusses the beginning of Oshe Ifa, devotion, our devotion days, or actually Oshe Obatala, right? So we have Usanla Oshimerabo, who is Obatala. It's another name for Obatala. He was in a place where he was looking for a spouse. He was looking for someone who would assist him to achieve the things that Olodumare said that he should achieve in his life. Earlier in his life, he had met several women, but none of them were in support of helping him complete his destiny. Obatala found himself in a place where he was tired and frustrated, yet he was still determined to find the person that would help support his destiny. Now, on the other hand, we have this woman named Ojose. She was in search of a man who would understand her and treat her right. She was ready to assist whatever man came to her life to help him reach his dreams and to fulfill all of his life's goals. And she had been meeting men where the situation just wasn't working out, right? None of them valued her as a woman. None of them wanted to give her respect for who she was. But like Obatala, she was convinced that she would find someone who was right for her. She just needed to figure out how to meet him at the right time. So one day, Obatala and Ojose, they crossed paths with each other. It was almost like a situation where they were walking down the street, bumped shoulders, and they said, "Hey, I'm sorry. What's your name?" "Oh, my name is Ojose. My name is Obatala." Right? And they start to hit it off right away. Both found each other very attractive, very interesting. Right? As they started to speak and talk with each other, they realized that in no time that both of them were kind of in the same place in their life. They were looking for someone to complement their life. And they found themselves readily attracted to each other, so it seemed like it was a good place to go. Now, Obatala, being the one that he is, he goes for Ifa consultation to find out if Ojose is the woman who would be the person who supported his destiny, right? So he goes to have Ifa cast. His only thought was like, please do not let me make the mistakes I made before in the past. Please let me be with someone who will support who I am. Now, Ifa gave him the feedback of, yes, this person that you are seeking to engage in a serious relationship with is good for you. You both will support each other and help lift each other up. You both will find each other's companionship to be as good as it could be. Now, Obatala, what you need to do is to make sure that you always respect and cherish this woman. Obatala heard. He heard the advice and he offered the abo. One of the other things that Obatala did is that he would, to show his respect for Ojose, he would break kola nut for her on a daily basis. And the breaking of kola nuts is something that we do within Ifa to give an offering to show our respect to the Orisha and to give our prayers, right? And so as Obatala found himself in that place, he was giving respect to Ojose. He would break kola nut and pray for her success, pray for her to be great in everything that she does. Pray that they complement each other for the rest of their lives. So they continued and they lived happy and successful lives together. Now, again, I point this particular story out, because it's so important for us Ifa practitioners. The idea of giving respect to those who are around us. The idea of if we are in a relationship, that we are always focused on trying to live in a way that you are in support of each other, right? I not only believe that the support of our relationships are important, right? If I should support our relationships, but it should support our friendships, right? It should support our families. It should support everything that we're doing, right? Now, in this particular story, the Ire that comes up is the Ire of spouse, right? It was important for Obatala to have his blessing be the Ire of spouse for him to find success. And for many of us, that is also true. Our spouses, or the people that we trust to have in our lives, should be the people that will lift us up. It should be the people that will respect us. It should be the people that we can live our lives in support of each other, right? If you are put in a situation where you have to break kola nut for the people who you love, the people who are around you, can you do that? That's the question, right? Can we be like Obatala and break kola nut in respect for our spouse on a daily basis? That is always the question, right? So it's important for us to think about our relationships and what they mean to us, and always work to make sure that we're always showing each other mutual respect, that we're in support, we're honoring our spouse as best we can. Because again, Ifa tells us this is an Ire that will help us to that place of happiness. Right? Ashe. So let's go to another Odu. This Odu is Ejiogbe. Ejiogbe. And it goes like this. Ifa declares that here comes Epeji, the Awo in the household of Koro, the wealth accumulator. Ifa, I state that we have transacted Ifa business extensively and arrived at this land. I declare that we were successful indeed. Orumila asks, what have you brought back that has made you feel that way? I responded that it was 2 rats, swift and running, which we have brought back. This has made us have a successful enterprise. Ashe. So, the town of, there was Ifa practitioners that were being guided, headed by an Awo named Epeji. They had went to Orumila And they said to him, Baba, we have been successful in all of our endeavors. Orunmila said, okay, why do you say that? What have you brought back to show for your success? They said, well, Baba, we brought back 2 rats each. Can't you see? Orunmila declared, that does not amount to success. You've simply gone on a rat expedition. Orunmila said, go out again and pursue real profit in their Ifa practices. Ifa declares that here comes Epeji, the awo in the household of Koro, the wealth accumulator. Ifa, I state that we have transacted Ifa business extensively and arrived at this land. I declare that we are very successful indeed. Orunmila asked that what have you brought back that has made you feel so successful? I responded that we brought 2 fish, graceful in swimming. This has made us have a successful enterprise in Ifa. Again, Orunmila made it clear. The practitioners had only acquired fish because they went on a fish-eating expedition. Orunmila ordered them to go back out in search of real profits in Ifa. Ifa declares, here comes Epeji, the awo in the household of Koro, the wealth accumulator. Ifa state that we have transacted Ifa business extensively and arrived at this land. I declare that we were very successful indeed. Orunmila asked that what did we bring back that has made us so successful? I responded that we brought back 2 birds swift in flight. Again, Orunmila says, you went on a bird-eating expedition. You have not yet found the real profits of Ifa. Orunmila says, go back out in search of real profit. Ifa declares, here comes Epeji, the awo in the household of Koro, the wealth accumulator. Ifa, I state that we have transacted Ifa business extensively and arrived at this land. I declare that we were very successful indeed. Orunmila, we have brought back 2 beasts with massive livers. We are very successful. And again, Orunmila responded, having several beasts does not make anyone successful. It does not constitute a profit in life. You are only just beast eaters. Orunmila again tells them, go out in search of real profit. Ifa declares, here comes Epeji, the awo in the household of Koro, the wealth accumulator. Ifa, I state that we have transacted Ifa business extensively and arrived at this land. I declare that we were very successful indeed. Orunmila asked, what did you bring back that has made you feel so successful? I responded that it was 2 maids with pointed breasts whom we brought back. This made us have a successful enterprise. When Orunmila heard that the awo had brought back 2 damsels, he declared that it was at that time that the awo could say that they were successful in Ifa enterprise. The awo were surprised when they brought home the 2 maids that Orunmila declared that this was a successful trip. They asked Orunmila, Baba, why were we successful by bringing home the 2 maids? Orunmila responded that it is only through these maids, through these women, that one could have children. It was through children that their future was assured. He stated that only children constitute people's real profit in life. Consequently, rats, fish, birds, and beasts do not constitute profit in life, whereas marriage and children do. This Odu is so clear in Ejiobe. We could be out looking for everything else in life, but the importance of spouse, the importance of children, The importance of creating a legacy is a part of what Ifa is about. The importance of having our name live on. The importance of becoming people so good, the importance of supporting those and becoming people that are good, that we are hopefully risen to the point of being egungun, to the point where we are being venerated by those who come after us. Right? It shouldn't be a superficial good, but it should be a place where, again, we find our spouse, we have our children, we have all the things that are in our lives that complete us. It's important to know that we shouldn't go through this life alone. I'm not saying everybody should go out and get married tomorrow. But what I am saying is that Ifa wants us to have these blessings in our life, because this is part of what we seek. The main ire of Ifa, if we start simple. Ire Aiku, the ire of long life, blessing of long life. The blessing of wealth, the blessing of spouse, the blessing of children, and having all ire come together. And I know I said blessings of wealth, but wealth in Ifa does not always translate to having $1 million. It translates to having internal happiness. It translates to having support of those that are around us. It translates to us having people who we love with all of ourselves. Right? In this particular story, Ifa told the Awos that their success for them would be to have their spouse and their children. Right? I think about that often. At this point in my life, my happiness has been so much with my home and my children. Right? My spouse, my home, and my children. I don't want to forget that part, right? That's important. I'll tell you a funny story. As many of you know, that I am a teacher. That is my main profession. And so I've always been known as a teacher who has had very high expectations, right, for my students. I push them hard. I want them to do well. I want them to find their success. But sometimes it's hard to recognize how they see you in life. Like you to recognize, or myself to recognize that. So I remember some years ago when I had seniors graduated, and one of the seniors said to me, I noticed something different in you when I think you found out that your child was being born. It was like all of a sudden you were happier. And I laughed. And I laughed because I felt that was true. Right up until I found out that we were having our first child, I remember things were really tense at home, and I went to my wife's work because I was trying to see her, and then she had told me, and I almost broke down and cried right there. I wasn't expecting it, but I was happier than all knows what that we were bringing a life into this world. Then I got scared because how would we do this, right? And so, but that for me has been the process. Now raising my children in Ifa and teaching them to understand what Ifa is and how we can live our lives as Ifa practitioners is important. Because I want them to be successful. I want them to be able to find their way in this life and have the guidance of Ifa. Living a good and successful life is not about possessions. It's honestly not about how many different Orisha icons you have or how many uh, necklaces you have or bracelets you have or cars or homes or any of that stuff. It's important for us to know that we're working towards living a full and fulfilled life. It's important to know that we have people around us who can love us. It is important to know that we have people around us who we can love. This is all part of our success. It's important for us to be in work that we enjoy. This is part of having a good destiny. Some of us may not even have discovered that path yet, but I humbly ask you, you know, start with your prayers. Whoever you believe in to be your creator, pray to your ancestors, pray however you want to pray to help you find your life, help you find your happiness, to help you have the support so that you can find all of the blessings in your life. I want to thank you for joining me today on this discussion of Ifa and having true happiness, or in finding or going in search of true happiness. We should all be there. That's what Ifa wants for all of us, true happiness. So I hope we all find our way to that place. I hope you all have a wonderful Oshe Ifa. We will be back again in just a couple of weeks. If you have any questions, please reach out to our temple page. We have a page on Facebook and a page on Instagram. I hope you have a wonderful week. Aboru, aboye, aboshisheo boato.